Good morning. Sharing some ideas. These days, a lot of natural disasters from the east to the west, north, south, everywhere. The problem is not with the natural disaster. The problem is when the disasters becomes normal in the eyes of the perceiver. You look at this on TV, it's like very normal. Some expressions, this is what they say the crisis in life, they are not taken serious unless they are entered. They are validated by chaos. I have them written in French here. Actually, I wrote them. Les crises de vie ne sont jamais prises au sérieux que lorsque qu'elles se valident par un chaos, par chaos. The chaos, there is more disaster in the chaos when the abnormality becomes normalized. Le désastre est plus cataclysmique lorsque l'anormal devient une routine. When abnormality becomes a routine, it's today the way you hear the spokesman, for instance, or like the journalists on TV, well, it's not their fault, they are just broadcasting what's going on. And then life continues like this, and then another country next to is planning another war and killing. It's like those natural disasters, they're not gonna reach us. You know, it's weird, the world has never reached this kind of blindness the way it is today. Now, when you look at this, you're gonna see, hey, stop, don't do this, hey, stop, don't do this. We're talking about action. Can you stop the action? The action is characterized by a mind, and a mind is characterized by a doctrine. It's all of these, what we see today. These are all irresistible forces are dragging human being without realizing it. They think they decide. Actually, they are decided. And don't be surprised the way you see, hey, this person is highly educated and this person is a congressman, another person is like, a counselor and this and economic. From where to approach it, it's not easy. What they say in Buddhism, they say when you see these natural disasters, this is an indication that the kings, those are on the top of a government, they are not just. There's no justice with them. This is what they say. Well, that's a part of it, that is correct. But it doesn't exclude the citizens. It doesn't exclude the human being. The way the scientists today, they study, earthquakes, they study the drought, and they study, these are the philosophers, the researchers in geology and this kind of thing. They scratch the surface. When you see this kind of like a very deep analysis with all these diagrams, they show you an anti-seismic and this, what's going on, and the way they tell you about the shifting of the way the rotation of the earth and the melting of the planet at the North Pole and this. Well, this is shared to the scientist to find to find a good ambience with it. They don't study human being. What is the human being? You are studying an epitome. You are studying a holographic image that is giving an image of the person, but what is the origin of that holographic image that is displayed there? What is it? They tell you scientifically, this is what's going in the CO2 and this. Anyway. Prophet Muhammad he said, just a small thing, he said about charity. He said, whenever you see people, if people don't give the charity, they will be prevented from drops of the rain. He said drops. ما منع قوم الزكاة إلا ومنع القطرة من السماء. Drops. It's not gonna rain. See, the scientist is gonna tell you, oh, this is what is it? What has to link with this, man? It's like this shifting of the planet. Listen, you have your share and everybody has his share. That's why the God said in the Quran, he said, I give everybody his part. Is like the pie. You know, the pie, the pie chart. When you display the budget, you say, it's your part, that one is your part. So just try to understand it that way. Keep scratching the surface. They don't understand, even though they have the study of anthropology. Anthropology is the link of the universe, a human being, with the nature. But they study it as a study. It's like the same thing when they sit around the table and they try to understand, they say theology, they understand God. Look at that, there is nothing like more impoliteness in this world as a creature from a drop of sperm, he collects some ideas and tries to intellectualize God. Look at that, theology, to understand God. Astaghfirullah. Look at that. Back to nature and back to now. In this world, when God put Adam on earth, peace be upon him, if you take the concentric line, a concentric meaning there is a circle here, the center. And the center here, from all the way seventh heaven, the same thing, concentric meaning the same center, you're going to find it going down all the way vertically to the Kaaba. God asked him to build the Kaaba. That's the globalization, that's the center of the earth. It was after the flood, during Noah time, it disappears. And then when God asked Abraham, peace be upon him, with his son Ishmael, peace be upon them, he didn't say build it, same thing he asked Adam to do it, he said to يَرْفَعُ الْقَوَاعِدَ. The foundations were there. In other words, to rebuild it again. And it was renovated from one time to another. But anyway, what do we have to do with this? Whatever happened in this center, what happened politically, economically, that's the octopus, and all are the tentacles all over the world. Today you see the economy of the world. What kind of economy? The whole world is unstable. What kind of economy are you talking about? What is it? It's like highway robbers. Everybody's trying to take his share. That's how it is. Even a country, a country is a highway robber anyway. So everywhere. But look where God gave the power based on loyalty. Say, economy is there. Politics is there. Everything is there. We're going to leave this aside. During Umar ibn Khattab, everybody knows him, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The Khilafah, the succession, where was the country? Where were the frontiers of the country? Actually, there was no frontier. Okay? A believer in one God, he doesn't have frontier, he is for the whole world. What Muslims after, when they try to fragment their mind first, they fragmented their mind, they said this is colonialism who did this. No, it's not the colonialism. The colonialism had only executed what you have in your mind. So they start dispersing and fragmenting and dividing their countries into pieces and then regions, and then, well, I'm with myself fragmented. How do you want me to be friendly with you? So, anyway, where was formed east to the west, from Persia to North Africa? Do you know how powerful was back then? It's better, study this. Go to history. Even though you are going only to scratch the surface, you're not going to know exactly how it was. So anyway, some events or snapshots. He heard about his son got into a business, involved in a business in the north. Today, Syria, it was a sham. He heard about he was in a business, he called him. Fraction of a second, the son was there. You understand? No telephone, no this, not sending you bodyguards wherever. Come. Obedience to the governor, obedience to his fatherhood. He told him, my son, I heard that you are entered into a business, whatever. He said, yes, father. He said, once again, I want to tell you one thing. 1/3 of your capital, call it capital, turnover, whatever. 1/3 is going to be taken from your budget. It will enter the treasury. Treasury meaning Beit al-Mal, say, it's where, like where the money of that time, how it is, where it is. Why? He said, when you go and you buy from the provider or the supplier, they give you the price to please you because you are the son of Umar ibn al-Khattab. That's obviously, we have this kind of feeling, we can't control it. If you are the son of the governor, we give you a price that you like. He said 1/3 because of these reasons will enter Beit al-Mal. Another, the second third, will be taken from you because people come and buy from you because you are the son of the governor. You understand? 2/3 from your capital will be taken from you to Beit al-Mal. The 1/3 that is left from that 1/3 you're going to give charity, zakat, if it is applicable. In other words, if you reach nisab. Did he say my money? No. Now, how come, what do you call this, government, family? What do you call it? Now you're going to say, why this story? Do you have to study this from like the economy and you study what is the inflation? The inflation is a false symptom. The deflation is a false symptom. The stagflation is a false symptom. The business circle or the trade circle is a false symptom. All of them are a false symptom. And then they decide based on the false symptoms. That's why they got multiplied, the false symptoms. They got multiplied, dispersed. And this is how human being, how the world is getting lost. How can you have a mind? What kind of mind it is? The economy is kind of like going a free fall, a lot of countries, and going after the war and making a war, an engineering war. Officially, about clandestinely, forget it. Everywhere, how can that be? Populations are suffering. Now, you're going to say, well, these are in the reason why I'm mentioning this, it is all coming from the Muslims. Muslims don't like these words. Well, we are not here pleasing anybody. This man, what he did. During his time, as I said, in Jerusalem, there were Jews living there. When he went there, he sent to give him, they know about his power. This is a power. Do you understand? You don't speak about the power. Never, never, ever there was a power in the world as it was during that time when the Muslims were loyal. Never. What they tell you about stories, listen, there is his story and there is his story. So be careful of his story. Of course. So because of this loyalty, when he sent someone to the Jews who were living in Jerusalem, and they know about him, they refused the first one, the second one, third, I think the fourth time. Did he abuse his power? The first time you don't do it, I'm going to come and exterminate all people. Or they were living there, they know. Actually, in their books, Jews, they say good things about Umar ibn al-Khattab. Somehow, because they know some stories about him. There was one time he saw an old man, very old man, he couldn't walk, there in Medina. He called one of his companions, he said, put him a part of the social security for his retirement. We didn't consume his youth and then we threw his elderness. You understand? Put like it's a part of the social security to give him money. It's like he was a people of the book, but he didn't neglect, he didn't use the power. Getting back to Jerusalem. He sent the first, the second, sent to give him the keys for Quds, even though he He can go there. They were just a bunch of some people living, Jewish people, minority Christians. He went by himself. Story is beautiful. I don't want to go far. At the time there was some kind of like, I don't know, riding a camel or riding a mule or I don't know. So there was a kid with him who was helping him. So sometimes he let the kid be on to ride that camel. Sometimes he takes over, and sometimes he gives a chance to the animal to relax, to walk like this. When he reached that area, to meet those people over there, his companion, there was a turn of the kid to be on the camel. There was the turn of the kid, and they told him, "Oh, Omar, you are a governor, and you are, it should be red carpet like they do Arabs, like, what I'm saying, today." Because they feel such a pain of inexistence, humiliated in the world. That's why they make all this kind of exaggeration. They told him, "You're going to be in front of another delegation. Those are Jewish Christians," what I'm saying. He said, "It's his turn, it's his turn." No. When he got there, Jewish people, they gave him the key and they said, "These are the indications that we have in the Torah that the man who will take the keys of Al-Quds, he will be coming, walking, and the kid on the camel." It is written like this. But if the Jewish people, they know there is man, loyalty, there is an economy, there is, you understand? They themselves, they're going to come to you. They don't do what they are doing today. Mecca, the center, I don't like to go with bad words, but it's the center of sponsoring terrorism. Anyway, now look at the progeny. His son, and then a progeny. The progeny with grandson. There is another Umar, by the way. Yeah. His name is Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Do you know during time of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, the wolves, animal wolves, they are among the sheep, lambs, they don't attack them. In Rome, this is the testimony of the Christians. They were looking at this, they say, "What's going on here? Something is a miracle." No. They say because of the loyalty of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. One day, 2 words and I'm going to wrap up. He saw his wife with a necklace, beautiful necklace with pearls. He asked her, he said, "Where did you get that?" She said, "My father gave it to me as a gift," which was true. It's not like money of people's money. You understand? Taking advantage of families, taking the budget, all the banks, family playing with the money, you understand, of the nation of people, which is in the Arab world, and they spend it in Copacabana. I'm not against Copacabana. You want to spend it from your pocket, that's fine. That's fine. You are a person who wants to have fun. I'm not against that. But use your money. We don't use people's money. He told her, "Where is it? Where is it? Where do you get it from?" She said, "My father gave it to me as a gift." He was putting his head down. I wasn't with them, by the way, but when I read it, it's like this. Go to Hilyat al-Awliya. He said, with the name like this, he said, "Either you choose Umar ibn Abdul Aziz or the necklace. One of them has to be in the house. They cannot be two." And she understood what he meant. Abadan. He said, "Either you choose Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, which is me, your husband, and the Khalif, or you choose the necklace, choose one of them." She said, right away. It's not, "No, my money." It's like respecting the way women do that. Yeah, my God. She said, "Umar, I choose Umar ibn Abdul Aziz." She said, "I have nothing to do." She removed it. He said, "Put it fi Bayt al-Mal." Now, when in Rome, they saw a wolf attacking a sheep. Do you know what they said? This is testimony of the Christians, by the way. They said, "I bet you that Umar ibn Abdul Aziz died." They memorize that day, they put it like on a calendar. Then when they realize after months, they realize he died at that moment. This is what justice, what is loyalty, justice does. You know, Muslims are behind this kind of what's going on in the world. Look at the way God made them or made us. I feel like shame to say I'm a Muslim. Look at the way he made us. To the one day we're waiting for an economy here. This country has a good, we are with you. No, tomorrow we are with you. Tomorrow we are with you. Buying personalities. Or maybe, borrowing, I should say. Borrowing personalities. Listen, may the Lord bless you. Make your nights as shiny as your days. I see you soon.